Yo, yo, yo! What's going on, IG? IG is saying we are now live. Look, I'm gonna say this right now. I do not own the rights to this music. IG, don't be hating on me, man. Don't be cutting off my music, man. People wanna jump on here and hear things. We got a special guest that we gonna bring on for tonight's Gridiron games. Let me get him on here, man. Come on. Come on, IG, let my guy in. There it is, there it is.
What's
Hey,
good, man?
can you hear it? Can you hear it in the background the day
I can hear
after,
it. I
dog?
can hear it the day after. I was listening to it all
Absolutely.
last night. I've been listening to it all day too.
Hey, hey, we gotta let this joker look, man. We gotta let it ride out just a
Hey,
little
man,
bit, bro.
that's what I'm
Just a
saying,
little
yo.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hold on, man.
it's one of
Hold
these
on, man.
that everybody who says they didn't like the halftime show,
Absolutely. 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 Well,
just like you said at the beginning.
welcome, man. Welcome to Gridiron Games. I got to do this right, man. This is the show for athletes. This is a show by athlete for athletes where we talk about all types of things concerning ball, transition, finances, the whole need, man. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Gridiron Games episode. Today we have a special guest, my brother, someone who has a mark for knocking dudes out, right, at the University of Michigan. He went on to make a name for himself in the NFL, true playmaker. Look at here, played 50 consecutive games, man, for the Wolverines before being drafted by the Oakland Raiders and then went on to go to the New York Giants where he had one of the most phenomenal seasons, man. Time for the second, right, in
Yes,
NFL with 8 interceptions for that season. But when we keeping it real, man, however, like any other athlete, you know, the journey has its highs and lows, right? There's injuries, there's transitions, there's finding purpose beyond the game. And my brother has done that well. So with that being said, Gridiron Games, let's welcome Mr. Stevie Brown. Absolutely, sir. Great to have you on, man. How you feeling,
appreciate
man?
you. I'm feeling good, man. Definitely feeling good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I was just in New Orleans, so
Oh
I still got a
yeah.
lot of that juice.
Oh
I
yeah,
got a lot of that energy, bro. Kendrick, man, goodness, that might
man.
have been the highlight. I think we went to the Super Bowl to watch the Kendrick Lamar performance because
Uh,
Kansas City, man, I don't know what they was on. They wasn't
yeah,
ready.
KC didn't show up. KC didn't show up at all.
Give,
Uh, yeah, that was shocking. That was
give
shocking.
me, give me your insight. Give me a little insight on what you thought took place, on why that was. Like we knew what they were going for,
Yeah.
but I want to know your thought process.
So I mean, honestly, like the way I looked at it as you saw KC all season long. Like, don't get me wrong, they went 15-2 with an upset, not an upset, a blowout loss to the Bills, and then they rested everybody and lost to the Broncos. So when you look at them on paper, you think they're actually that good. But if you actually watch the Chiefs, they're not that good.
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened. They do have this innate ability to, if the game is close, Mahomes will make some wonders and he makes things happen. But if you watch that offense in its totality, they're not a driving offense. They're not a sustaining a 12, 13, 14, 15 play and punch it in at the end type of offense.
Yeah.
Like they need that defense to create turnovers, to create plays, put them in favorable positions so then they don't have to go that far down the field because they don't have that explosive ability. They've actually lost that explosive ability ever since Tyreek Hill left. They've still been a good team, but they don't have that explosion anymore without Tyreek on the field. And whenever you take Tyreek off the field, it brings the pressure from the secondary down. So now all those little openings that they used to have in the middle where Travis Kelsey would find his mark, or Juju Smith-Schuster, or now a D-Hop that they had signed, that's gone because you
Yeah.
don't have somebody who's 50 yards down the field that you have to really be worried about. Nobody's taking the top off the defense like that. So, that offense has been suspect all year long. Philly's defense has been good all year long.
Yeah.
So it didn't shock me in the sense that KC lost the game. I will say I was a little shocked that they didn't put up more of a fight at the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, so like what we saw yesterday, I think everybody outside of, actually, I shouldn't say that. I think Philly knew it, and people who watch football knew it.
Yeah,
But other than that,
man,
no one saw that coming.
that's a beautiful take, man. And I know a lot of people gonna get some insight off of that, man. I tell you what, this was my whole thing. And Charles Amina, who's my good brother, man. I love my brother, man. And we actually were sitting down and having lunch, and he was very confident on what he thought that they would be able to do. My whole thing was, man, I've looked at not only the size but the physicality that Philadelphia's offensive line has played. And when you look at it historically in Super Bowls, I mean, you remove the Tom Brady Super Bowls, obviously, right? This guy's
Yeah.
one of the greatest of all time. But if you look at the teams usually or generally that have won those games, it's the teams that are more physical in the middle, right? Whoever
Hmm.
dominates the line of scrimmage and can control this and can stop the run and run the ball. Like, and,
Exactly.
and that run the ball doesn't always have to look traditional. It can be screens and getting on the edge, but like there's a commitment to the run game. And we
Yes.
saw that. And even so much so with even Jalen Hurts, man, I think that was the first time that we've ever truly seen Jalen Hurts decide, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And that includes
Yeah.
using my legs to
Yes.
keep these plays going. And you could tell what Steve was trying to do, Steve Spagnuolo. He hadn't really seen Jalen moving around and running like that. So he
Yeah.
was like, okay, we're not gonna spy him, right? Because that's not his MO. And I think
Yeah.
he broke the mold by saying, I'm going to do whatever it takes, including using my legs. And he has some scampers, man. He rushed
Yeah.
for some pretty decent yards. And so like when you look at that, even they showed the weight limit, the average size of lines, 245 pounds on the
Yes.
defensive side versus 338. Like, lean on them. Like,
Mhm.
you're a defensive player, man.
Yeah.
If these guys are leaning on you for 4 quarters, I got to hold up 330 and then tackle a 600-pound squat back. I got to
Yep.
hold up 330 and then go chase the ball. If I got to do that for 4 quarters consistently,
Yeah.
it's not a lot of defenses that's going to be able to hold, especially like you were talking about, if you're not getting any help on the offensive side. Bro, they blanked these brothers for the first half,
Hmm.
24-0 in the first half, bro.
One
Like,
first
it was
down.
a, man, dominant performance.
That's
Well,
the
look,
thing. One first down.
we're gonna definitely get into more stuff, but listen, man, some people are gonna know about your football career, man. Share something with us about yourself that they don't know, Steve.
Mm. That they don't know.
That they don't know. What is something that the people don't know? We need a
Oh.
Gridiron Games exclusive from Mr.
Oh
Stevie
man.
Brown.
I'm trying to think here. What? I mean, damn. That's a lot. Okay. I'll mm, most people don't know this. Like, I am an avid traveler. I have been to 20 different countries,
Nice.
6 continents. Antarctica is the only one that I need to go to next. Um, so I guess, yeah, that'd be something that a lot of people don't know about me.
Man,
Just,
that's huge, bro. There's a proverb that says a man that traveleth much knoweth or learneth many things. So that's dope, man. To Vandella, I am Vandella. We got some people on. Hey, thanks for joining, everybody. Congratulations on your football career. Vandella says she don't know, so she like whatever you tell her, she not gonna know. So that's cool. Now she know, right?
you know now.
Laquan, Didi, all of y'all, thank y'all for joining. Let everybody know we're live. Traveling, man. So what is it about traveling that you're just like, man, I got to get out of here? 20 countries, man. That's a lot.
Yeah, I love experiencing new culture. I love
Yeah.
experiencing, I mean, the one thing that everybody knows about me is food.
Yep.
So I like to experience the food. I like to just like, honestly, like whenever you detach and get away from here, like this is one of those things whenever I go overseas, like I never turn on a cell phone plan when I'm overseas. Like if you can't get a hold of me,
Yeah.
when I get back on Wi-Fi, you'll get a hold of me,
Yeah.
and I love that because that's my opportunity whenever I go overseas for like 2 weeks. Like people might have an hour to 2 hours of the day where they can get a hold of me. That other 6, 7 hours I'm asleep, so I'm not picking up my phone anyways. But I just get that time to just kind of like immerse myself in the
Yeah.
culture, be
Yeah.
around the people, kind of walk around, see new things. It's crazy. This world is so big.
Yes.
And something that like we fail to realize, I feel like a lot of times is there's much more out there other than what's here in the United States. And whenever you get to get out there and experience things like, I've been to like I was in Germany, and I go to a concentration camp, and
Oh wow.
at one point I'm sitting here, and it's like I see this doctor who discovered a cure for tuberculosis, like a day before I went to the concentration camp, and I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. And then I get to the concentration camp, and then I'm reading the stuff on the walls, and that same doctor was the one who was performing tests on the people at the concentration camp to figure out the cure for tuberculosis. It's like,
Wow.
damn, it's not as cool anymore. But to walk the grounds, to see some things like that, to read that, it's just like it puts things in perspective for you. Um, just other places I've been to, like going down to South Africa and just kind of like seeing how it's done down there. Like it's kind of funny. They have rolling blackouts in South Africa, like it's nothing.
Mm.
Girl I used to date, that's why I used to go down there. Like I would be with her and like all the power would just go off and she'd be like, just caring about her day. I'm like, so what do we do? She's like, it'll come back on, don't worry about it. Like kind of little things like that, getting
Yeah.
out, being along the water down there, kind of like, because we have one way of doing things here,
Yeah.
and until you leave and get to go see how other countries and other cultures experience things and how they handle things, like it puts things all in perspective, and then it just also allows you to kind of like sit back and think on things that we have that are good
Yeah.
and things that we take for granted,
Mm.
and it just makes you appreciate what you have a lot more.
I got a two-part question from you. One of them is from Vandella. She put this out there, so I want to ask. And anybody in the comments, if y'all have questions, man, please ask them. We're gonna throw them in the segment. But she wanted to know, where was your favorite place to travel in the world?
Hmm. Man, I would say of all the places I would have been, I think I really liked Australia.
Mm.
Um, and I would say I like Melbourne a little bit more than Sydney. I went to both, and I'll say, like, in my opinion,
Mm.
personal opinion, I feel like Sydney's a little more LA, and I feel like Melbourne's a little more New York.
Got it.
And, after my career in New York and ripping and running those streets, being in Melbourne kind of gave me that vibe, that feel again. But at the same time, like Melbourne has like a real beach. Like, not to say New York does a little bit, Long Island's a little bit further away from the city,
Yeah.
as opposed to if you're in Melbourne, you can be downtown Melbourne, kicking in that Victoria's Market, going through there, seeing all the fresh produce, fish, markets, people up there buying food, and then you can just walk half a mile. The next thing you know, you on St. Kilda's beach, and it's like a real beach, and you out there kicking it, hanging out. So it's like I really love Melbourne.
All right. Well, I'm
It's
putting
like,
it on the travel list, man. You gotta give me. We need a Stevie's top 20 travel list, man. We need you to go ahead and throw that out there for the people, bro. All right. And then the one thing. Here's another question for you. You and I agree with you so much, man. If you haven't traveled, I've traveled a couple places. I've been for, especially with the NFL. I've been to we go to
yeah.
Europe and all of that type of stuff. But give me just one thing, and it can be super simplistic, but one thing that we have here in the States that we might take for granted that other people don't have.
Um, one thing that's actually kind of funny is you don't think about it, but whenever you're out and about, public restrooms,
Mm.
and then just getting water whenever you're at a restaurant. Like if you sit down at a restaurant in most countries, like they charge you.
Wow.
They will charge you. They charge you for simple things like water. And
Huh.
then, like I said, if you're out and about, especially if you're in Europe and you need to go to the bathroom, you better have some coins on you. Like there's no just like, oh, I'm gonna pop into McDonald's and go to the bathroom. Mm-mm.
Wow. Bro,
Like
that's
yeah,
that's
you're gonna
wild.
hit the 1 or 2 euros just to go use the public toilet. So you can go to the bathroom when you're out and about.
They fit it.
Like those two things that like you don't think about it,
Yeah.
but
So they getting theirs. They gonna get
yeah, yeah,
there. They
yeah,
saying.
they're gonna get
All
theirs.
right,
They're gonna get
man.
theirs.
That's dope, man. Columbus, Indiana.
Yes.
Talk to us about growing up, man, in Columbus, Indiana. My dog is from Indy, man. What's happening?
Man, Columbus, Indiana is about 40 minutes south of Indianapolis, probably 30, 40 minutes east of Bloomington. if people know Indiana at all. And I'll say it like this: Columbus is a great place to raise a family. It's a very architectural driven city. I think it's still ranked top 10 in the United States as far as architectural. Like we literally have like pillars outside of our McDonald's. It's ridiculous for no reason. Um, but I'll say like it's like I said, it's a good place to grow up. Um, I Columbus East will always be my high school. Coach Gaddis will always be my coach. My friends will always be my friends there and everything like that. I don't go back much anymore.
Yeah.
Um, it's one of those places where you need to work for Cummins Engine Company. Like if
Mm,
you're gonna live in, that's where Cummins Engine Company's headquarters are. There's about 4 or 5 plants. The whole town works at Cummins.
yeah.
So it's like past that, um, like I said, it's a good place, but it's not for me.
It's
Yeah,
it's limited. It's limited to the options of things. It's like if you go
yeah,
there, you know what you're going there for. You know what your family structure is going to be like. It kind of
yeah,
takes me back, maybe Jackson 5, Gary, Indiana, a little bit. Kind of like this is
yeah,
what we're
yeah,
doing. Yeah.
yep,
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Who
yeah.
was
It's definitely
who was the most influential person during your formative years in life? And like what and how did they shape your perspective to be the man that you are today? And I know you might have different answers, but that's
I
my
would
question.
say I would say my grandpa. It's
Yeah,
always my grandpa has always been my
come
guy.
on, Grandpa.
I mean, he's passed now. He passed man, he passed maybe about 7, 8 years ago. He lived to 91 though.
Yeah.
But the thing about my grandpa, why I always say he shaped me to be who I am, is because my grandpa, with him being from Kingsport, Tennessee, growing up in the South, coming from a little bit of segregation and Jim Crows and things like that,
Mhm.
he always taught me to go after what I wanted, whether it was on the football field, because since I was a DB, he used to always tell me, hey, that ball's in the air, Steve, that's your ball.
Mm,
He said, it's not the receiver's ball, it's your ball.
yeah.
If I was in the classroom, he was like, "That A is your A, honor roll, get on it."
Yeah.
Like that was the thing that he always would preach to me, preach to me, my brother, my sister, everything like that. Just like you got to go out here and get what you want in this life, and you got to go out there and take it. Like
Mm,
don't sit back, don't let things come to you. He's like, if you want it, you got to go get it. And that was just always kind of how he talked to us.
love.
And so for me, it was like, shit, I know if I want to be an NFL player, I'm not just gonna sit back and be like, maybe the NFL will find me. Like, now I got to go make sure the NFL sees me,
Yeah. Yeah.
so they know. And that's one of the things that I always take away from my grandpa.
Man, that's so important. And I think that the young men that are going to hear this, they need to dive into that thought process, man. Like life doesn't owe you anything. I think a lot of times we're seeing some of these young kids, with the emergence of NIL and and things that we're seeing on TV and just the way the kids are growing up these days, man. The quote unquote gentle parenting. I ain't had no gentle parent, so I don't know nothing about that. But like it's putting people in a position to be spoiled a little bit and to and,
Yes.
and to lean in on excuses, man. And at the end of the day, life don't owe you anything. You have to go and create a life. It don't come to you. You have to make it. You have to create it. You have to sacrifice for it. And I know you know about that, man. Because I mean, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, 50, Steve, 50 consecutive games, bro. You see my
Mhm.
elevated tone? Like, God, dang. Bro, that's a lot of games, man. And it
Yeah.
shows, and the reason why, this is why people need to understand the importance of that number. Because a lot of times, first of all, the only way you're going to get to that is being able to come in as a youngster and do your thing. So the preparation that it even took to that, the preparation to go into a new environment where the competition is now elevated, man. The Big Ten, this was the Big Ten, Big Ten. This is when the Big
Yeah.
Ten was.
This
Not
was
to say it's not
big.
now, but it was the Big Ten. Like,
Yeah.
bro, like
when players were big.
big. Exactly. That's where the NFL is. The SEC and the Big Ten. That's where they went and got the Jake Longs of the world came out of there.
Hmm.
That's where they went and got their linemen from, man. So
Yes.
you come in as this kid from, Columbus, Indiana, man, and what is that like? The preparation, the thought process, you stepping out, like just walk us through that, because I don't think people understand, man. 50 games,
Um,
bro, Jesus.
oh man, you said that it automatically took me back to freshman year training camp. And Ron English was the defensive coordinator at the time. And it was funny because I remember coming in, I'm a high school All-American, uh, big four-star, top 100 recruit. And it's I'm not even joking. It's the third day of training camp. Third day of training camp. Coach G, he comes walking out on the field. Come here, my freshman. He brings over me and Jonas Mouton. Me and Jonas are the two, uh, both All Americans. He's out of Vista, California. I'm coming from Indiana, Columbus, Indiana. We're both safeties coming up to Michigan, and he's like, "Hey, my freshman." He's like, "How you guys enjoying training camp?" It's good, coach. He's like, "You guys learning?" We're like, "Yeah, coach, we learning." He said, "Good, because y'all ain't freshmen no more." He's like, "Once y'all start messing up from here forth," he's like, "I'm cussing y'all asses out every single time." And then so from that point on, it turned into like, oh shit, let me get myself right.
Yeah, yeah,
It was like,
yeah,
let me
yeah.
get myself
The
right.
law has
And
been laid.
yeah, like I'm telling, I kid you not, third day of practice. So we'd only been to two practices. You start those first two before you start two a days.
Yeah.
They give you one a day, and so we only been through two practices. And after that, he was like, "Y'all ain't freshmen no more. He's like, I'm treating you just like my vets." He's like, "If y'all mess up, he's like, I'm a dog cuss you on the field. I'm a dog cuss you in the meeting room." He's like, "It's time to get right."
Mm,
And so ever since then, that was one of the things that I really started focusing on. There's the two sayings: you can't make the club if you're in the tub,
hmm
and then if you don't know, you won't know,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be on the bench.
Yep.
So it
Yep.
just kind of turned into, I'm like, shoot, I got to make sure, because that's the other thing he told me. If he ever asked me a question, I said, he said, is six next.
Mm,
So it turned into, I'm gonna need you to have that response right
yeah.
now. So I started staying in my playbook.
Yeah.
And what it taught me as a youngster, if I had that ability whenever I was called on in the meeting and I gave you the answer right now, it put confidence in all my players that were sitting in the room with
Yeah.
me, the guys that were going to be next to me. And then when they had that confidence and they knew that I knew what I was doing like that, and I didn't have to fumble around when we watching film, they knew I was someone they could depend on whenever they got on the field. And whenever you know what you're doing and your teammates know what you're doing, the whole confidence, the whole level of play, everything goes up.
Man.
And those just that little bit of, like I said, third day cussing me out before I even did anything wrong to let me know he's gonna cuss me out, which really forced me to be like, you know what, I can't rely on my athletics. I need to get in this playbook
Yeah.
and make sure I know this thing front to back, all the little nuances, all the little motion of shifts and adjustments, and then grow from there as a player. Because it's honestly more mental than it is physical once you start stepping up those
Yeah.
ranks.
I heard something from Andre Garrod, man, that was extremely powerful. He said he had a different spin on the 90-10 rule. He said, football is 90% mental and 10% physical, because 90% of the people won't make the 10% sacrifice. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And I
yeah,
was like, yo, that's heavy.
yeah,
And it makes sense, right? Because what you're talking about is accountability. Your coach was seemed to be one that was like, yo, we will be accountable in this room, right?
yeah.
And the is six is crazy.
I'm,
Like,
I, I'm telling you, there's certain things you remember, and I just
yeah,
remember that he's like, every time you say that's
yeah.
six. He's like,
That's
strike up the band.
that's
If you,
that's
yeah, he would be in
wow.
the meeting room. He'd ask you a question. He'd ask out people a question. He'd be like, six, strike up the band. Next, when
Mm,
that's don't say
yeah,
don't say
yeah,
don't say
yeah.
don't have. You better say, all right, we in 21 personnel. They come out in pro style. That tight end steps off the ball. What do you learn? Better say it now.
Yeah.
All right, that tight end goes in motion. What's the new adjustment? What's the new check? Better say it now.
Yeah.
If not, boy.
Man, that's a level of accountability that most people will never know, bro. But then
No.
but see, listening to you speak, and I'll transition it into this so that people can understand why companies and businesses want athletes. It's because of that mentality. That
Yeah.
mentality right there, to be able to understand what the objective is, how the objective is supposed to be done, no excuses, no explanations, only results, and to be able to adjust when things don't go the way it needs to go. That's the reason why athletes are in these different spaces and they're thriving, man. If you look at a lot
Yes.
of the corporate executives that I've come across, no matter the level, high school, hell, we can go Pop Warner, middle school, high school, collegiately, professionally.
Yeah.
Somewhere in their background was some sport.
Yeah.
Like that from my just own personal research and the corporate executives that I know. Somewhere in their background, they'll diminish it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they talking to me, and so they like, oh, I didn't play at your level, and I'm like, no, bro, you play sports, I get it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why they are an executive. So it's because of that level of accountability. What was
Yes.
one of the most memorable games for you, man, being at Michigan? Out of the 50 consecutive starts that you had.
Most memorable. Probably Coach Carr's last game when we played Florida in the Capital One Bowl. That was the year Tebow won the Heisman.
Mm,
You know, that team was that was an Urban Meyer led
yeah,
team. Tebow quarterback. You had Percy Harvin out on the field. Lewis Murphy. Uh,
name,
Aaron
name,
Hernandez was on that team.
names, yeah.
The Pouncey brothers were on that team. Major Wright. Yeah, that team. I think that team. I'm sitting here thinking now, just like, damn, how many of them boys played in the league? Like, it was a pretty stacked team,
Yeah,
and it was in Orlando. They were supposed to win. Um, like I said, Tebow won the Heisman.
yep.
They came in with all the confidence in the world, and we was like, nah, we tired of this. And we knew it was Coach Carr's last game. We was like, nah, we got to ride out for our man.
Y'all got
Um,
tired of hearing how sorry y'all were in the write-ups, bro. Because
you
when
know,
you
that's
play
a,
Tim Tebow, it's like, oh, they don't. This team doesn't stand a chance.
yeah,
The Wolverines are not going to. It's going to be a 15. There's going to be a 17
hmm,
point deficit blowout.
yeah,
Baker got them under. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so
And that was right around the start of that time where they thought SEC was the greatest conference
yeah,
ever. I know y'all now technically part of SEC life, so you
yeah.
got to take it on. But you're a true Big 12 guy.
I am Big
Uh,
12 all day.
Yeah, but at that time, that's whenever that SEC was starting to. People were like, "I think SEC that's the only conference."
Yeah,
So as Big Ten and as a former Big 12, whenever you had a chance to play the
yeah,
SEC, you were like, "No, no, we coming,
yeah.
we coming," and that
Absolutely,
was basically how we felt going into that game.
man. So we play that last game, and coach. First of all, shout out to Coach Carr, man. That brother built a powerhouse with
Yeah,
Michigan. You know what I mean? Like you guys, man, put out some names. I mean, obviously yourself, the Lamar Woodleys, the Steve Brestons, Braylon Edwards,
yeah,
the Chad Henneys. I mean, goodness gracious. The young boy that was the running back, Mike Hart. I think it was Mike
Mike Hart,
Hart.
yeah, my
Oh,
guy. That's my
bro,
guy right there.
you guys put out some players, man. Obviously, Jake Long was one of those guys,
Hmm.
right? Um,
Yeah,
so we go through that. We have the last game with coach. Man, now it's time. You know, we're senior year. We've had our collegiate time. We've done and we put that resume together. Now we're going into with the aspirations, the dreams, and the hopes of every college athlete that believes that they're going to make it to the NFL. And what I want to talk about really quick before I let you shoot on this is let's understand the numbers so that people can understand exactly what you did. There is currently 364 Division I schools. That's just Division I. They've dropped the roster spot to 105. It used to be like 120. So it's
hmm,
105 people on the roster. That means that you have 38,220 people that are eligible just from the D1 spot to go to the draft. There are 32 teams, 53 roster spots, 17 practice squad spots, which is so that's 32 times 70, 200, 2,240 openings.
Yeah.
That's how many job openings are there for 38,000 D1 players. Now we're not even throwing in D2 and coming overseas and all of these other things. We're not throwing them in.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
roughly just say we got about, I don't know, 50,000 players. Let's say it's around there for 2,200 spots, bro.
Yeah.
That's what people have to understand what you've accomplished, man. Walk us through that process
Mm.
after the game is over for your senior year, and now we got to get started.
Yeah. So I will say this right before I get into that. Have you heard the analogy that you could take every single NFL player who's played one down, double them, and they still won't fill up the Chicago Bear Stadium?
That's crazy. I have not, and I'm going to
Yeah.
use that. Take it from
Yeah.
me.
Monday taught me that one.
Wow. Shout out
Yeah.
to Ryan Mundy,
Yeah.
Michigan legend as well, for sure.
hmm Yeah.
Yeah.
Monday taught me
Wow.
that one. Yeah. But so for me, I would say like it's it's such a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
The last game of the season, like we didn't go to a bowl game that year, so I think we probably finished our last game probably at the end of November. Yeah, because this was before the Big Ten had a championship game. So I think Thanksgiving usually is whenever Michigan Ohio State plays. So that would have been my last game. And then after that, I think I went home for a week, and then it was right off to Florida to start training.
Mm.
And yeah, because I remember I did New Year's Eve. I was New Year's Eve. I remember being in Florida for New Year's Eve, and I just kind of went down to the local bar, said hi, did a shot with my roommate that I had at Michigan. We were training at the same
Hmm.
place, so we went down to the bar, had a shot at midnight, and then went right back. That was our New Year's Eve that year because we had training in the morning, and we didn't want to be out late. And then it just started. After that, it was you just grind for the next like 3 months until you go to. I didn't go to the East West game or the Senior Bowl, so I didn't have to leave training to go to there. I just trained until I went to Pro Day in April. Um, and it is kind of like it's a weird feeling because like you said, all these people, this is what their goal is. This is what they want to do. They want to get into the league, and so now you're just training and you're working out with 10, 15 other guys everybody has the same goal. Not everybody's at the same position, but we're all in here. You're all of a sudden they give you all these new meals that you got to eat all the time. This is what you got to eat on. Even though you don't got a class, but your day is just planned. It's like you got to wake up. You got to stretch thing here. You got to go practice. You got to lift weights here. Then you got to go out to the field here. Then you got to go work on your running mechanics here. Then you got to go work on your 5-10 shuttle. Then you got to go work on your 3-cone. Then you got the chiropractor. Then you got more massages. Then you got the people who you watch film with. Like building up to the draft is a lot. You do a lot of stuff. Um, but like I'll say for me, I bought a Wii, and then I just locked myself in my hotel room unless I was doing those activities. And that year was the year that Super Bowl was I was training in Lauderdale, and the Super Bowl was in Miami, and I think that was it wouldn't have been the Colts. Yeah, it was the Colts. The Colts did play that year. I can't remember. Yeah, because I'm
They're the best Chicago or the
yeah,
Saints.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was
The
it
Saints,
the Saints?
Saints,
Oh nine.
Saints.
Okay, oh nine. So yeah, it was.
Yeah,
That's 1 year
yeah,
after we won in Pittsburgh. So yeah, they played the
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
quarter with the pick six from Peyton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see the Sean Payton pulling the onside kick coming out of halftime. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Drew Brees only championship. I remember that
Yep.
one.
Yep,
Yep. Okay.
yep. That was that one. Yeah. And like that's what I'm saying. Like Super Bowl was going on in Miami.
Yeah.
I didn't go to a single event. I
Locked,
didn't I didn't I didn't go over to Miami. I
locked in.
sat right in my hotel room, and guys that I was training with, they were like, they was going over, they was going out. Now that at that time I had never experienced like Super Bowl, but now that once I got into the league and I lived in Houston when Super Bowl was going on. I lived in New York when Super Bowl was going on, and I was in Indy when Super Bowl was going on. Like I know what it's like during Super Bowl week, and that's what a lot of those guys were doing. You know, you rip and run, you go do all this. You're going out to the carpet events. You wanna shake hands with people. Nah, like I said, I sat in my room. I played Wii,
Mm.
and I trained, and I
Yeah.
slept.
Yeah.
That's all I did for 2.5 months until my pro day in April. And I went out there coming as a safety, came in, jumped on the scale at 212, about 5, 6 pounds heavier than I had been ever in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Ran a 4.4240,
Yep.
had a 37-inch vert, hit 225, 23 times. Um, I came out of pro day and I went from somebody who kind of like people knew. I mean, I was a captain at Michigan. I played
Yep.
well, but I played out of position. I played linebacker my senior year.
Okay.
So now I'm transitioning back to safety. So now I got to prove to the scouts that I can play safety.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like for me coming out, having to redo at pro day and show that. And ended up doing so well. Um, my guy who actually just got his second championship ring, Brandon Graham,
Yeah. I
BG
can't
didn't
believe he's
actually,
still playing, bro. Jesus.
right? Right? Me and BG came in together. We
Yes,
came into
bro.
Michigan together.
15 years.
15
Jesus.
years. Philly legend. Philly legend. And at that time, BG didn't do our first pro day. I can't remember why, but he was going to have a second pro day because everybody wanted to see BG. Everybody knew BG was going
Yeah.
first round. But they called, a bunch of scouts called me back and were like, will you work out with BG? Just off of my first because they wanted to see me again. And I was like, say less.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
less. I was like, y'all want me to work out when BG's working out? I was like, I know there's gonna be some
Yeah.
eyes here because
Yep.
now BG's working out. And I ended up going seventh round. Um, I didn't really know where I was gonna go. You know, everybody always talks about the grades and everything like that, but being able to at least get drafted, hear my name called was no better feeling.
Man, man. And I was just about to ask you about that because you go in, you're being drafted in the seventh round, but at the end of the day, we always know this. Like, man, hell, listen, you one round away from Brady, you one round away from Antonio Brown. Like, if we really gonna put it in perspective, man, it's these lower round draft picks that end up really doing things and going to the Hall
Yeah,
of Fame, having these
it's
long
a,
careers, man. You know what I'm saying?
but
So
it's a,
we got to grind,
the late
get it.
round.
It ain't
Yeah,
given to us at the jump. So, what was your expectation? You've been drafted. Your life is seemingly not going to be the same. Everybody's seeing your name on the ticker, right?
yeah.
You get drafted by the Oakland Raiders.
Raiders.
Like Chris Berman used to say, the
But
Raiders, man. Legendary team, man.
hmm
Talk about that, bro. What was that like?
man, it was it's kind of like an amazing place in a sense where it's like, don't get me wrong, at the time when I had got to Oakland, um, I think the facilities were probably worse than what I had at Michigan.
Yeah,
Uh,
that.
but but at the same time, it's like I always tell everybody, no team treats you better than the team that drafts you.
Yeah,
Like at least that first year, they might do some stuff later, but that first year, going out there to Oakland, uh, getting to meet your boy Huff,
man, Hub Dog.
Huff, love Huff. Huff was such a good dude. Him and Ty Vaughn. I think that's what made Oakland so much fun for me was those two
Yeah,
because they, as much as everybody thinks that when you get to a team and you play the same position, those guys aren't going to like you. Those guys aren't going to want to help you. It's nothing like that. Those guys are the first to help you
yep,
because competition breeds success.
yes,
And and that was the thing that Huff and Tyvon, they would talk to me about the defense. They would make sure I kind of understood the little nuances and things like that. And whenever I would go out there and make plays and things like that, Huff would look at me and like, all right, Brownie, you ain't taking my spot. Huff going out there. So Huff going out there to make some more plays. Tyvon going out there and make some plays. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get on the field. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need y'all to get off the field so I can make some more plays. And like that was the type of chemistry that room had. And then we were all cool off the field as well. I think Huff might be the most generous person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
He'll give you the shirt off his back and not even think twice about it. And that was just the type of guy that Huff was. So I always appreciated him for that. They showed me a lot of things to do, a lot of things not to do. Uh, they were just great mentors. Oakland was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed it. I was only there for a year, but um, that DB room was very close. And then our rookie class was super close. So, like, I had a great rookie experience being out there in Oakland.
Man, that is important, man. Like your vets are going to determine your initial thought about the NFL because that's what you're seeing. You're not there yet. You're not groomed up in the system to understand how everything moves. So having good vets that'll bring
Yeah.
you in, welcome you, and embrace you, because you already, man. Like when you walk in as a rookie, like you already like, man, I got to prove myself to these guys. I got to, like I can't make mistakes, and it's like the veterans will see something in you and be like, look, bro, I'm a 5-time Pro Bowl. I still make mistakes. You got to relax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, dang, I do need to put that in perspective, but I don't know the ins and outs of nothing in this space. Of course, I'm gonna
Hmm.
make mistakes. So it's like give yourself grace to make mistakes. And the true coaches, not the ones that got there off of politics, but the ones that got there off of their merit and they truly understand how to coach. Those true
Hmm.
ones, they're gonna have that grace with you to help you get to a particular spot because they believe in you like that. And on top of that, man, like when you figure out like how not to make the same mistakes twice,
Yes.
when you start to figure out the systems, then they can start seeing who you are as a player and who they drafted, and that's the biggest thing, man. So,
Yeah. I agree with that.
man, so the sports business is the sports business, man. Talk about what transpired leaving the team that drafted you, going from the West Coast all the way over to the East
East.
Coast, man. My brother is coastal over here.
Yeah.
How did that transpire? What was that like when you got there?
Um, it wasn't I enjoyed it. It was so I actually had a pit stop in Indy because after my second training camp with Oakland, they had let me go. And then that's when I signed with the Colts, and I ended up playing there the rest of the season. And then the Colts, at the end of that year, they were just kind of like, "Hey, if you want to, they're like, we're open to bringing you back, but if you want to go explore other teams, go explore other teams." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I went around, talked to a few teams, and then when I took my visit to New York, Coach Merritt, uh, he kind of brings me into the room, and we're just sitting there talking, and he kept it honest with me. He's like, "Hey man, Stevie, listen, this is right after the Giants had just won the Super Bowl." He goes, "Hey, we got Antrell Roll here, and we got Kenny Phillips. Those are our starters. The Deion Grant just retired. We like to run a three package safety or a three package with safeties. Um, that's probably the position you'll be competing for." That we just drafted Tyler Sash last year. So we had a guy they drafted by the name of Chad Jones out of LSU, but Chad got in a bad car
Mm,
accident right after he got drafted, and he had basically like a halo around his leg, and he missed his whole first year. And they're like, "We don't know if he's going to come back." They're like, "We're just trying to see," um, but they're essentially they're just kind of like they're letting me know everybody that's in the room, and they're like, "It's up to you." So, hearing that, it's like, damn, most people would be like, damn, they already got two starters. They already got two rookies that they had just drafted. Like, where do you see your place in here? Where do I see my, and I looked at it as a challenge and a competition.
yeah.
I was like, I knew New York was a good organization. Um, Cincinnati had offered me a contract as well. Cincinnati's only 2 hours from Columbus, Indiana, so I'd be really right next to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but just something felt different about New York, and I was like, you know what? Just because they have two starters and these guys, and they're bringing in guys, I was like, something tell me this is the place I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And my conversation with Coach Merritt, I ended up really liking Coach Merritt, and even to this day, I still talk to Coach Merritt. OBC right there, great coach. He elevated my play. That's another reason why I'm happy I went there. Just kind of learning from him. And I come in that first season, 4 games in, 5 games in. I think we go down on a Thursday night game to Philly. And no. It was a Sunday night game. We just played the Thursday night game. The Thursday night game against Carolina, Trail actually hits his knee on the cameraman with
Oh,
like 50 seconds ago. Trail's running out of bounds. Boom, hits the cameraman. So Trail doesn't practice all week.
yep.
So all week I'm playing strong safety. I'm playing strong safety all week because Trail's on the sideline. He's like, I'm good to go for the game. So I'm like, all right, cool. Been playing strong safety all week. 4 plays into the Sunday night game against Philly, Shady comes out, hits one of them moves. Kenny went, knee goes down. Steve, you gotta go play free. Like, damn, I just since Monday I've been playing strong safety.
Yeah.
So now I gotta go play free safety. All right, shoot.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, how you introduced me, everything kind of took off from there. Like I think that was 5-6 games into the season, 7 interceptions later.
Man.
Um,
At a position
New
that
York became
you wasn't
home.
even practicing for. That's
Nope.
grandpa right there, man. If you want to go take it.
Go take it. And that's
you see, man, you saw the ball and you took it.
I took it. And the funny thing was, like at the start of that season, there was a guy that they had brought in free agency named Will Hill.
I remember Will Hill.
The Thrill
Yeah.
was his nickname. He was supposed to be like a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
But he had got into some off the field issues and Florida kicked him out. And he's a Jersey kid from, you want to say like Newark. So they say it out there. West Orange area. And he came into the season and he was actually suspended the first 4 games. So like in those first 4 games, I still remember, just like you said, got to get it.
Yeah.
I was only playing special teams at that time. I was like, damn, Will's going to come back. T-Sash is here, Trail, and Kenny. I was like, and me. So we got 5 safeties right now. I was like, I don't want to be the odd man sent home.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember the first game we played in Tampa Bay. I was like, I need 3 special teams tackles a game. That's how I'm staying on this team.
Yep.
And that's what I think those first 4 games, I had 11 tackles, special teams.
Yep.
As a gunner, running down on kickoff, I was like, I'm going to stay on this team.
Yep.
And
special teams coach, he's beating on the table like, we can't lose this guy.
Exactly.
We can't lose this guy. Look at y'all got to figure it out, but this is our guy.
Yeah.
Listen,
so that's how I approached that.
Yeah.
That's how I approached those games. Like before I started starting, hey, I need three of them a game. I need 3 of them a game, so they can't kick me off here. They can't cut me. Yeah. And then, so that's how I did it to stay on. Will comes back, and I'm still learning, doing all my thing. Then the injury happens to Kenny week 6 or something. So like right after that, now I'm starting.
Yeah.
After just being able to be like, hey, don't kick me off this team, so I can make all these special teams tackles. To now I'm starting. Now I got 8 interceptions on the season. I set the Giants single season record.
Yep.
4th all time in interception return yard single season. Giants record holder.
Yep.
I just had to go get
Bro, that is, I don't think people really understand how remarkable that is. Like if you think about, when you talk about record holders for an organization, you got to look at the organization. We're talking about the Michael Strahans, the Lawrence Taylors, right? The Eli Mannings, the David Tyrees with the great catches. You know what I mean? The Jeremy Shockeys. You feel me?
Yeah.
The David Deals of the world. Like we're talking about guys in this, and then in that market with that team. And then here's this 7th round kid that nobody really believed in, playing out of position setting a single season record for interceptions and interception yards, and they can never take that from you. I hear your kids in the background, which we
Yeah.
absolutely love. We love here on Gridiron. I'm telling you, bro, we love that, bro. I
Oh
got
yeah.
kids. I love brothers that got their future in the background, man, so
Oh
people
yeah.
can see, and I know the audience is gonna love it as well. But that's something that as they get older, like you go back, they can see that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's my dad. Look what my dad accomplished, man.
Hmm.
So what do you think led to what contributed to that season for you to be able to take over like you did? Like what was a contributing factor?
Um, I'll say Coach Merritt
Yeah,
and Antrell Roll.
got it.
Those are my two. You know, I'll always. It's funny. I can go into my closet right now and I'll pull out
Yeah.
notebooks, stacks of notebooks from my teams that I played on, from just constantly taking notes and always trying to learn and trying to make sure I knew what needed to be done, as far as like my role in the game. And Coach Mayer would always preach ATCA:
Mm,
alignment, technique, keys,
mm.
assignment. That if you didn't know ATCA, you couldn't play for him. And that was just kind of how it would be. You know, it'd be little things. He'd be like, "All right, we got we're in quarters. It's a 2x2 ATCA."
Yep.
And I'd already learned when I was in college, I guess, right now.
Yep.
So, you know, you come up like 2x2. I was like, 12 yards deep, 1 yard outside, number two. I was like, if number two bends underneath 5 yards, I'm getting my eyes on one. Number one goes outside release, I'm getting my eyes back in. You know, it's like, that's just how you had to talk
Yeah.
to him. I'm like, all right, outside leverage. I was like, if two goes down the block, I check my eyes, the B gap. Everybody's running down. I'm fitting the B gap in the run gap, like run game. It was just how it was. And then I always credit Trail on a lot of things because Trail would just be like Trail would go, Stevie, I got 5 plays. Look at this play, this play, this play, this play, this play. Put yourself in this defense. What do you see yourself doing? What do you see me doing? And like he would just tell me that. And then I go out, I go back, I watch film, look at all of the plays, put myself in the plays, write it all down. And then I'll be like, all right, Trail, like this one play, this is what we're gonna do. I was like, if this receiver does this is what you're gonna do, this is what I'm gonna do. I was like, this, boom, boom, boom. And then like, and if I answered everything the way Trail wanted to go, he'd just be like, we're on the same page.
Yep. And walk
And
off. Yep.
walk off.
Mm.
And then if there was ever a disagreement or he saw something different, and he'd be like, hey, well, I kind of see it like this. But, for the most part, like since me and Trail always had those type of
Mm.
conversations, the most that me and Trail ever had to communicate was, yeah.
Mm.
All I had to say to Trail.
Mm.
All Trail had to say to me. It didn't matter what coverage we were in, what play was called. Max thing we had to say to each other was, yeah.
Mm. That's being locked in. That's being locked in.
And then it just be, you hear, I got you. And then we ready.
Yeah.
We ready.
Man, I love that. I love that. That's how you know, like when you're locked in with your team, man. Like as offensive linemen, bro, there's so much communication. Like we gotta know, we got things happening on the other side that we got to get from the right side all the way back to the left or vice versa. We got to look at the middle of the field. Like we got a lot of things happening, and there's a lot of communication, and so there's not a lot of we call it caveman grunt. It's just caveman grunt going on. Check, beep, Lucy, red, like you know what I mean, like all of those, and we know, and it's communication, bro, and it's happening so fast. So to hear that, you guys back there got your own little thing, man, that's pretty dope, man. So you have this, like, man, football is just like life, man. Everything can be moving in a trajectory upward, and you're like, man, I think I got a hold of this thing. I think I really got a handle on this thing called the game. And then all of a sudden, boom, adversity, man. And so for you, your adversity struck right after one of the best seasons that has ever been played for a safety in New York. That being injury in 2013, I believe was it the ACL? You tore the ACL,
Yep.
man.
Yeah.
Walk us through your mentality after that, and then how do you transition from, because some people have that woe is me mentality, but how do you transition from that to saying, you know what, I'm going to beat this and get back to who I was?
I'm trying to think, like like basically what you said was basically how I took it. It was just like,
Yeah,
all right, it's like I got injured. It's time to
yeah,
get back. And yeah, I don't think I ever really had the woe is me. Like I don't think I ever had the woe is me. Now
good.
that I'm thinking about it, like there was times where I was like, damn, how am I? Now I remember it was probably like a week after surgery, week and a half after surgery, and I was just standing up like this. They were like, bend your knee, like kick your butt. I could get my leg maybe half an inch, 2 inches off the ground. I
Yeah,
was like, damn. I was like, this is kind of sad.
yeah,
You had that realization, but I never had a woe is me because I just love the game of football. I love playing. I wanted to get back into the locker room. I wanted to get back with my guys. I wanted to get back out onto the field. And so it was just more so like, what do I need to do to get
yeah,
back? And that was just kind of the approach that I had whenever I came back in. It was I didn't want to push too hard to have any setbacks or anything like that. I just wanted to make sure I was staying on pace and ahead of schedule and just kept working, just kept grinding. Like I said, I loved the game. I loved my teammates. I loved putting on the uniform. I loved running down the tunnel. I loved hitting. I loved making plays. I loved just all of them, and I just wanted to get back to it.
yeah.
Um, it was that simple for me.
Got it. Yeah, no, man, and that's great. That's great that you talk about that mentality because everybody from what I've seen, man, especially guys that's never been hurt before, and I don't know if that was your situation, but
Yeah,
people that have
it
never
was.
been hurt before, when they get hurt, it's like, man, what do I do? You know what I mean? And then,
Yeah,
but what you see is a lot of times like that same competitive nature that got them to the league kicks in the rehab phase. So they start figuring out other things to do. We had Lamar Houston on, and he
I know
talked
Lamar.
about how when he got hurt, like he found himself moving in different spaces when it came to investments and things like that, and just doing his injury thing because he wants to get back to the locker room too. But it
Yeah,
also gave him some time to kind of look, while I'm in the game, to look at, okay, what does life look like after the game,
yeah,
right? And so you get on. I know you had some time in Houston, but transition is inevitable for any of us, man. And so when we get ready to move on to the next phase, what is that thought process like? You've done this one thing your entire life. It's like, did
yeah.
you have a plan coming out, or you kind of like was feeling yourself through it to figure out, okay, this is what I'm going to do?
I kind of was feeling myself through it.
Yeah,
I mean, in certain ways, I always knew I wanted to get into food.
yeah.
Um, I would say whenever I was in New York, I took full advantage of being in New York and being around food,
Mm.
and not so much just eating. Like I made sure to there's a what is it called? There used to be this firefighter competition that used to raise money, and the firehouse chefs would cook, and they would cook with local restaurants out of the boroughs. So it'd be like competition, like five, six, all the different boroughs versus, I mean, the restaurants and the firefighters would partner together, and then they would cook against the other boroughs. So like I started becoming a judge for that and being over there. Um, I had the ability to meet a bunch of different chefs in the city, and they would allow me to come to the restaurant and come back into the kitchen and just kind of like see how they did things and show me how a line cook during a service would work. Taught me how to cook a couple of dishes. I had the good fortune of being able to meet Guy Fieri,
Oh, wow.
go to his restaurant, kind of like hang out with him. He showed me a lot of things, and then he introduced me to a lot of his friends, um, and just like gradually just learning and taking in all this knowledge from all these professional chefs, these even some celebrity chefs and things like that, and just having that ability just to learn and have them teach me about food and different dishes and why certain things go in certain things and why presentation, so like that was kind of like me in New York. So whenever I transitioned out, it turned into like, I know I want to do food, but what do I want to do in
Yeah.
food? And so that's where I kind of started feeling myself around. It was like, I know food is kind of like my next avenue that I think I want to explore. I just didn't know exactly what it was. So I did fill myself out for a little bit, and then eventually I opened up a food truck. Um, I had that for about 2 years, and then I used to do a little bit of meal prep, and then I got into training clients, and like so now I'm in a space to where I don't have my food truck anymore. I don't do meal prep, but I still do cooking videos. I still do my YouTube channel is being created. Well, I mean, it's created. It's just we're creating the videos to go on to the YouTube channel currently. Um, so that's going to be launched soon, and might get back into the meal prep. You know,
It's a little work. It's a little work for
yeah,
that with that, right?
because with that one's more so like having the consistent
Yeah,
customers.
yeah,
Um, but I'll probably still do a e-recipe book though,
yeah,
because I am working on a lot of the stuff that's going on my YouTube channel. Because I do get the question all the time, "What do you eat?"
yeah.
And so, a lot of the cooking videos I do are like my fun weekend videos where I have my cheat meals and everything like
Hmm.
that. But like on a week to a day-to-day basis during the week, what do I eat
Yeah.
is kind of what I'm putting on my YouTube channel.
Nice.
Uh,
What's the
but
name of the
my
YouTube channel?
It's gonna be Stevie's Kitchen.
Oh, I love that, man. Keep it
Yeah,
simple. I love
it's
that.
gonna be Stevie's Kitchen been riding since shoot. I've been doing Stevie's Kitchen since probably 2011.
Okay. Yeah, we got some
You,
time in.
yeah, you go back and check. I think on my Twitter back whenever you first started being able to post pictures on Twitter, I used to do Stevie's Kitchen, and then IG came about, and Flipgram was one of. That's how
Oh,
Flipgram was like the first video.
yeah, yeah,
So I used to have the Flipgram pictures that used to show the food. But yeah, Stevie's Kitchen been around since probably
man.
2011.
We
So
got some team on Stevie's Kitchen, man.
yeah,
One of the reasons why we do this show, bro, is I want people to see that there is life after the game and there's purpose to be found if you're looking for it. And
yeah,
you found it through the kitchen, man. It's so cool, and I watch you, and everybody needs to follow you on IG, man, because you be making so. I mean, obviously we know working out and good food is your passion,
hmm
man, but like being able to see like the attention to detail, the preparation that you put in not only into your workouts but also into the cooking in your food. It's so funny because it's easy to see the correlation between how you were as a player when you talk about the stack of notebooks and having to be attention to detail and like coach talking about, hey, is six, you know what I mean? So it's
yeah.
like you've taken those transferable skills and placed it in the kitchen and the cooking world and the fitness world, man. What is some advice that you would have for players that are in the space of ball, but they're getting ready more than likely to be transitioning out of that space? Because I can tell you that that's scary for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, how did you handle it, and what advice would you give to those individuals?
I would like it's kind of basically the same thing that I did is what I would tell people. Don't think you have to have everything figured
Mm,
out right now.
that's good.
Because whenever you go into a situation thinking you have to have everything figured out right now, it becomes overwhelming and then you don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
So it's just like, think about what you love to do.
Yeah.
If you were still playing football and you're still getting that check that you were getting when you're playing football and the season's not going on, what do you want to do?
Mhm.
And then from there, that's what you devise what you should do once you leave the
Yeah.
game. Because you should now start because that's one of I think the things that's hard for us as players is we love
Yeah.
football. It's all we've done. We've all to that point we've all put in our 1,000 hours. You have put in your 1,000 hours to make it to the NFL between Pop Warner, middle school, high school, college. You've put in 1,000 hours, whether it's a weight room, game field, watching film, doing all that type of stuff. So now, what would you be willing to put another 1,000 hours towards to be great at?
Mm,
Not just get a paycheck,
yeah.
That's one of the hard things that a lot of us do. We do something to get a paycheck.
Yeah.
We don't do something that we love.
Yeah.
And if you are not, I mean, of course, nobody's thinking about the end. Nobody wants to just predict no one's like going into the league like, hey, I'm only going to play a year and then I'm going to get cut. Like, no one thinks like that.
Correct.
But you should always think about what do I love to do when I'm not playing
Yeah.
football? And then whenever that day comes, how do I do what I love? And now I can get that to help me make money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think those are the things that we as athletes need to ask ourselves every single year.
I love that. I love that. That's good, man. That's good, man. I mean, obviously, you did my review on it. Man. I appreciate you, but I wrote a book, "What to Do When It's Done: Navigating Life After the Game." And one of the things that I talk about is similar to what you talk about, man. Like, what does life look like when the game is no longer there? And I get like how we are, as we know, we're gonna play forever, right?
Yeah.
We realize
Yeah.
that, but in case we don't, right? What,
Yeah.
like, to your point, like, what do we believe our purpose is? And one of the things that I've learned from Myron Golden, he taught this principle that your purpose is found between your proficiency and your calling. That thing that you talked about. If I wasn't doing this, remove the check, and I still want to do it. That's my calling. That's the thing that I'm like, I gotta do this. I love doing this.
Yeah.
And then your proficiency, I believe, is things that other people see you do it, and they're like, bro, how do you do that, man? That just looks so difficult. And you kind of like, this is easy to me. Like I do this
Yeah.
in my sleep, right? It's because you're proficient at it. To your point, the 1,000 hours, and at the intersection of that, you can find your purpose, man. And your purpose can be capitalized. And I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of people realize that, especially in today's world. There's so many ways to capitalize that. And so, moving into the transition of capital, man, financial stability for us as athletes is extremely important. You
Yeah.
know, the numbers are not good as it pertains to us. And, you know, one of the statistics that Ed Butowski shared with me. So if people don't know who Ed Butowski is, look him up, man. This dude single-handedly is the reason why the documentary 30 for 30 Broke was established. It was off of his work. And so one of the things that he gave me outside of the whole 78% of athletes, financially, all of that, 90% of athletes are financially distressed 5 years after retirement. 90%. So not meaning that you're bankrupt or not meaning that you've lost all your money. It's just like that money is getting low and I really don't know what I'm gonna do. Like 90% of athletes operate in that space because we're just not taught money. We're given a lot, but we're not taught a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
What were some strategies that you employed to manage your finances during your playing career?
Man, I was just cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, let's, this is what I did. I went in knowing that the life expectancy of an NFL player is less than 2 years.
Yeah.
I went in knowing I was the 251st pick out of 254 picks.
Yeah.
I went in knowing this might not be long. Don't waste
Yeah.
all your money.
Yeah.
And that was just kind of the mindset that I had. And I was blessed to play 6 years. I was blessed to sign a couple of good contracts that put a couple uh, M's in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And then I already had that cheap mentality. So I was like, it's
Yeah,
like
I'm good.
yeah, I'm good. It was just like, yeah, but like that was really it for me. That just knowing that I was the 251st
Yeah.
pick and knowing that life expectancy is 2 years.
Yeah.
So as the 251st pick at that time, league minimum was 325 as a rookie. And then the collective bargaining agreement got redone. So I got an extra spike going into that second year. And I think I was up to 400. It shouldn't have been that big of a jump, but with the new CBA,
Yeah.
everybody got paid a little bit more. So, pre-taxes, if I just look at those 2 years, I'm not even making $1 million.
Yeah.
Pre-tax figure.
Yeah.
So if I only made that 325 plus that 400 after taxes, and mind you, I'm playing in Cali and New York.
Yeah.
So that money already right there just cut in half.
Yep.
So, the most that I'm making at that point, after taxes, after agent fees, I might have 250 in my pocket.
Yeah.
And 250, don't get me wrong, at 23 is a great amount of money to have in the pocket. But again, 23,
Yeah.
there's still a lot of life to live.
Correct.
And 230,000, I can get myself a nice apartment at that time. I can
Yeah.
get myself a decent car. And then I would have to go back to the work world. I would just have a little bit more cushion than
Yeah.
anybody else.
Yep.
And so that's how I lived.
So,
I was like,
so if I'm hearing you correctly, your circumstance dictated your thought process when it came to money, right? Because you were not getting the big bag up front. You had to work to get that. So now that when you do get a bigger bag, now you're like, okay, I know what it's like being down here. I'm up, but we don't change the mentality of how we move. We just know that now we have more options to be able to do particular things that maybe allow this money to make money, which is my next question. What do you think the common financial pitfalls are for athletes that they should be aware of? And then how can they be avoided?
I think people need to get real decks
Mm,
because at the end of the day, it's like when you get a little bit of money, you know it, I know it. And it's not that people are intentionally coming out and trying to um, swindle you out of your money, but everybody's going to have an opportunity.
yeah.
Everybody's
Your
going to
money.
have everybody's going to have something that they can do for you
Yeah.
with your money to get you more money. And if you fall subject to just saying yes all the time because you have enough money, you have that ability to be like, oh, I can give you an extra 20 here, I can give you 20 here, or I can give you 10 here. Like that little bit's going to add up. And if you don't get real decks, if you don't get a real time crunch on if this goes south, who am I coming to get my money from?
Yeah.
Who do I come back to be able to
Stevie,
recoup?
hold on. Wait. This brother, please say that again. Please, bro, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. What did you say? If this goes south, what?
Who do I come to get my money back?
No, these athletes, brother, they don't even fathom that thought process. Because all we hear is the good stuff. And that's in our
Mm-hmm.
mind, we don't look at the negative of things because it's like, nah, I ain't worried about none of that. I'm that dude. I don't know what they talking about. I'm finna do this, right? But
Yeah.
it's like, I understand that mentality and that might work on the football field. That don't work in the real world, man. It
No.
does. It doesn't. So I
No.
love that. Who am I coming back to if this goes south? I love that. How do you think how can they avoid that? I mean, you talked about like getting decks, but like if I've never dealt with this before, then how do I set up barriers to be able to protect me, my family, and my money?
Um, get a trust.
Mm,
That was one of the first things that me and my financial advisor did. We set up a trust.
got
Um, yeah. Oh, buddy.
it. Yeah, hey, listen.
Uh,
He be on to something. A lot of athletes be saying, "Oh," when they retire if they ain't listening to what this brother just said. So
yeah.
let's protect our money, get a
Yeah.
trust. Okay.
Get a trust. Put your money in the trust that protects you. Like I mean, my money and my house are in my trust. So if somebody sues me, they ain't getting none of that. Hey, buddy, you want you want some milk? Okay, I'll get you some milk. Uh, that's that trust is key.
Yeah.
And then you got to have some people that are willing to
Yeah.
say no.
Yeah.
So if you don't always want to be the bad guy, like I know in my playing days, like I said, I was 7th round pick. So and the misconception, like you get it too. Everybody thinks you get free tickets.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would be at people would be like, oh, you're coming here. Ooh, I want tickets. I want tickets. Can I get tickets? I get tickets. My response was the same to everybody. Ask my parents.
Yeah.
My parents had the role of saying no.
Yeah.
So like they would be like, "Oh, such and such asked me." I'm like, "No." All right. So they were the ones who went and said no
Yeah.
for me. But if you got like if you have somebody that you can trust around you, like it doesn't even have to be your parents, it could just be a friend or something like that, where you're just like, you're my no guy.
Yeah.
You say no to people for me, so I don't have to feel like a bad guy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I did. I just kind of had my parents were my no people. Um, and then when it came to certain business things, I just said no. Like a lot of, sometimes people I don't even know were like, "Hey, no."
Yeah.
It's like,
But
no.
I never heard of this or you in my life. I'm good.
Yeah.
So
And then like, yeah, the people that are super close to you, um, I think even as I think early, I was like, I think I let one of my former teammates borrow like $1,000. And it was funny because then he was like, "Hey, can I get?" I was like, "You never gave me back my
yeah,
first 1,000." Like,
yeah.
no.
I didn't forget about that.
Yeah, it's like I
Hey,
gave you a little bit.
I got a funny story for you real quick. To your point. So my
Yeah,
web designer, shout out to my web designer, man, my brother Av, man. So uh Ab was designing my website. He was like, all right, bro, this is how much it's gonna cost to do it. We can do a split payment where you pay me half. I finish it, you pay me back. I was like, all right, cool. How you want to get paid? He was like, all right, well, Zelle me $1 straight. All right, cool. Zelle me $1, right? So I paid him. I paid him on the front end, right?
yeah,
Got the website going. Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, Ab is a beast, bro. Ab is a beast at this stuff, man. And I was like, Ab, bro, you killed it, bro. You made it look better than I even thought it was gonna look, man. I absolutely love it. He was like, all right, cool. I said, all right, so I gotta pay you that second half, right? He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like, all right, shoot, you can shoot it to me the same way. I was like, all right. So I shot him. I shot him the remainder of the money minus the dollar, and then I
yeah.
put in the memo. I ain't forget about that dollar I sent you. And
Hey,
he hit me back. He was like, bro, from here on out, I trust you with anything finance, bro. I was like, yeah, I didn't forget about that four quarters, bro.
yeah,
So you
that's what I'm
getting
saying. Hey,
everything up to that dollar that I sent you the first time, right?
I already sent you $1. I ain't sending you more.
No doubt.
Yeah,
That's the
I get it.
intentionality. That's the
Yeah.
intentionality. Man, we're gonna wrap this up with reflections and future endeavors, man. If you could have a conversation with your 18-year-old self,
Mm.
what insights or advice would you share?
With my 18-year-old self,
Mhm.
I would tell my 18-year-old self to, um, I would never say I didn't enjoy moments, but to enjoy moments more.
Mm.
I I kind of grew up in a household where you were expected to do
Got
well.
it.
So that was kind of like always my mindset whenever I was, playing and things like that. Like, no, I studied. No, I put in my time watching film. I expect to do what I'm
Yeah.
doing. Um, and which is always good, but at the same time, like I never really sat down even during that record season and was like, damn, I just set a record. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Like it was like I never took too much time to kind of like enjoy those moments. And I feel like that's something I would tell my 18-year-old self to enjoy moments a little bit more. Enjoy all the highs, enjoy all the lows, kind of just like be in that moment a lot more. Definitely now being a parent, I fully understand what that
Mm.
means. Being in the moment, just being with my son sometimes, like put my phones down, like I don't even turn on the TV, just like what you want to do, buddy.
Yeah.
And and like kind of that I think would be one of the things that I would tell my 18-year-old self. It's not always about expecting, just sometimes you just need to sit back and enjoy.
I love that, bro. I have an acronym for time that stands for take in monumental experiences. You know what I mean? And so, or you could say take in memorable experiences. But either way, man, it's about reflection. I think a lot of times, man, in life, especially as men, when we're creating something, man, we can, and as athletes, bro, and I talked about this on another segment. We have this insatiable appetite to dive in because we are going to be great. Nothing's
Hmm.
going to stop us from being great. we will sacrifice anything. Shannon Sharp's talked about this too, right? Sacrifice, child and relationships. He's 50 some years old, not married, all this type of stuff,
Yeah.
right? Sacrifice that because I want greatness. But what happens is that when you get to the Mount Everest and you've climbed that mountain, you look up and you're taking in all of these experiences, and my God, look how great this is. And you look to the left and look to the right, and there's nobody there, nobody to share that with. And so you have to be able to find that balance of understanding how to still be able to go after purpose, but then to bring people along and have them be a part of what it is that you're doing as well. What core lessons from your football career continue to influence your life decisions today?
Um, two. I have two quotes that coaches have told me that I'll always live by. My high school coach always used to say, "If you look in the mirror, will you follow that man?" So that's always one that I have definitely if I'm doing what I'm doing, if I'm moving in a certain way, if I didn't know me, would I be okay with that?
Yeah.
Would I want my son to do that? Would I want my nephew to do that?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I have been since my high school coach used to always tell me that. And then one thing that Coach Coughlin would always say, buddy, please. He would always say, hey, Coach Coughlin, control the
Control the
controllables.
control. Yeah, absolutely.
That was a Coughlin thing, and that is one of my favorite ones because it's like, and that's one of the ones that I try to teach to everybody because controlling the controllables, you have the ability to not let little things stress you out.
Yeah.
And you can focus on the important task. And not to say there's certain things that aren't important, but it's like if I can't control it, I'm not going to let it stress me out. I'm not going to let it be the end of my day. I'm not going to let it affect my mood.
Yep.
What I am going to do is take care of what I can take care of. Like if I wake up in the morning and it's raining outside, it's just raining.
Yep.
Like there's nothing I can do about
Yep.
that. But what I can do is be like, you know what? Let me get this umbrella, shield myself, shield my son, go to work. I'm gonna drive safe on the road. I'm gonna still get my workout in. I'm still gonna train my clients. I'm still gonna do those are the things I can control.
Yeah.
And those are things that I'm gonna do with a smile. But if it's raining, hey, that's out of my control. I'm just here.
I love it.
And those are the two of my favorite sayings that my coaches that I've learned from my coaches over the years.
Man, that right there, I'm not even going to expound on. I want to let that breathe, and I want the people that are going to see that, they're watching this now, and they're going to see this later, to take that in, man, because that's not only a key from an athlete perspective. That's something that can work for anybody. I love that. What are the current projects and passions that you're working on right now? We're going to end the thing out right.
So currently, like I was talking about earlier, I'm working on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
You actually mentioned his name earlier. We had a talk. I guess it would have been at the beginning of the year. Lamar Woodley.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I want to do is, do you remember the show Throwdown?
Yeah, I remember that.
I want to do it tailgate style.
So you're gonna have coming in with their stuff, parking lot. This is how we get.
Well, I'm gonna be coming in.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna be. I'm gonna need an episode where I'm gonna pull up at UT and you're gonna be my guest.
I'm with it.
I'm gonna hit up Brock, and we going to LSU.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit up like my boy Cole. We going to Clemson.
Yeah.
And things like that. Like I want to go in. I want to go with guys who are from the school, and I need to know. And I'm gonna figure out whatever stadium I'm going to. what does that tailgate look like? What's going to be the food that has to go down at that tailgate? And then I'm gonna challenge you to it.
Okay. All right.
And hey, buddy, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. I'm just not holding you. You're fine.
Hey, man. I love it. I want to attend now. Come on, man. Welcome to the show. Little Steve, what's up, man? Welcome to Gridiron, man. That's how, listen, that's how, look, I'm going to tell you the lesson that he took on. He learned from his daddy, man. What you want, you go after. He went after.
Yeah.
I don't care about you doing the live show. Hold
Yes.
me. I love that, man. Well, look, man, I definitely appreciate you, brother. I appreciate everything, all the wisdom, the gems that you drop. Man, how can people find you? Let them know about anything that you want, when people see this, where you want them to go, where you want them to come see you, man. I want to put the plug in for you.
So right now, Stevie Brown _27 IG. I think it's just Stevie Brown 327 on TikTok. Stevie's Kitchen YouTube.
Yep.
I think we're gonna film 4 more episodes before we start dropping them. So they'll probably start going out in
Okay.
March. March, Stevie's Kitchen will probably hit the airways, and we'll be going from there. Those will be the places to find me right now.
Love it, man. Well, look, man, I appreciate everything. Hey, little Steve joining us, man. My brother,
Hey, buddy.
Man.
I know. I'm making him some food
I
now.
love it. Your man, TonytheTycoon. Man, last message I'll say is for the athletes that are watching, man, sport is what you do. It's not who you are. In line with the divine, and everything will work out in its own time, man. For my guest, Brown, man, I appreciate it, man. Little Stevie Brown, appreciate you, bro. TonytheTycoon, we out, man. Talk soon, brother. Thank you.
Have a good one. Appreciate you. See you, man.